Can you beat Armored Core Last Raven using only hover legs? Widely considered to be one of the hardest FromSoftware games ever made, Last Raven is infamous within the Armored Core community for having brutally tough bosses, countless unfair advantages for the enemy ACs, and balancing issues that limit a good portion of build options. And there is no better demonstration of said balance issues than there is with the entire hover legs class. Added first in Armored Core 2, these legs were specifically designed for water missions and water missions only. On land they are clunky, fragile, don't hold much weight, and cannot use special back weapons without kneeling. And they're made even worse in Last Raven with the additional mechanics of part breaking and overheating, two things hover legs are very vulnerable to. Using hover legs in Last Raven is essentially a death sentence. A death sentence I am willing to defile. And yes, that is literally the whole challenge. I am free to use any weapon, generator, booster, oh wait, they can equip boosters, or upper body frame. While I am no god at Armored Core like some people are, I am competent enough to have completed every single AC game but these two. And yet, as it turns out, this singular limitation is more than enough to turn an already hard game into a complete nightmare. This is Armored Core Last Raven hover legs only, and I welcome you to the journey. First, we must set the stage. The year is ED 0261. Unmanned suicide drones are ravaging the world with no rest. Humanity's destruction remains an imminent threat for all. With times becoming more and more desperate, Kisaragi, Mirage, and Crest form together to create Alliance. Led by the Raven known as Evangel amongst others, they are a group of worthless, brainless, greedy fucks who decided now is a great time to try making a buck out of an ongoing apocalypse. Trying to stop these capitalist pigs is Vertex, a coup that's also backed by Ravens trying to do everything to stop Alliance from running a monopoly on this disaster. This is where my story begins. With a bit of money, my own customizable armored core, and a dream to become the best Raven I can possibly be. Unfortunately for me, I became a Raven at the worst time imaginable. With the ongoing conflict between Alliance and Vertex reaching its climax, any new Raven's job at this point would be to just survive. There are 24 hours until Vertex's declared time of attack, and my AC is still rocking the factory model. From here on out, I have two options. Build the best AC I possibly can to survive, or use hover legs. And as an insane person may have also done, I chose the latter. With the starting cash given to me, I constructed my first hover leg masterpiece, a design so perfect, so balanced that is worthy of the name Ryu. After running a few tests, fine-tuning my AC to the max, and giving him a sweet little paint job, felt like nothing could stop me now. Confident and ready to go, I opened up my mission control panel and selected the best paying job available to me. Only to get absolutely obliterated by the first Raven I encounter. Well, shit. Maybe I shouldn't do the highest paying mission from the start. Just maybe. So instead, maybe I should start with some lower paying missions, like this one. Eliminate intruders, requested by Vertex. And a good choice this was. This mission was very easy. Destroy muscle tracers here, destroy muscle tracers there, nothing too crazy, and it's nice to finally grab myself some money. But just after I had left the scene, ready to head home, this happened. This is Zenaida. She is an independent warlord who was tasked to guard the units I had just killed. And unfortunately for her and for her gang, she indeed was too late. But she did give me a lovely little email of appreciation on my way out. Aw, thanks bestie. Last Raven doesn't just have missions as a matter of fact. It also comes with a VR arena, where I'm pitted up against equally capable Ravens in a one-on-one confrontation. In hopes of grabbing a bit more extra money, I decided to take a stop there real quick. I'm greeted by Ska, a Raven piloting a lightweight AC with the very underpowered Katsuga missile launcher on its back and 2 HP pistols as arm units. Now, do not get it twisted at all. These HP pistols are deadly, with some of the highest DPS in the game, but they also have very low ammo. And would you look at that, he ran out of ammo before he could kill me. How unfortunate. This is why HP pistols are best used as backup weapons. Feeling a bit more confident in my skills as a pilot, I prepared for my next mission, Eliminate Sundial. Piloted by the Raven named Principal, Sundial's a hover-like AC, just like me! Wow! What a terrible decision on her end to pick these shitty legs. Well, Principal didn't find it so she tore me a new one. Ow. See, Sundial is equipped with Centaur vertical missiles, which deal tremendous amounts of damage if they connect. For normal, actually playable legs such as medium bipeds or quad legs, these missiles usually aren't too hard to dodge, and thanks to that, Sundial usually isn't really a tough fight at all. Problem is, I'm using hover legs. Also, vertical missiles are just too fast, and I don't have enough money to purchase a lighter frame that'll help me avoid them. To make matters worse, hover legs have horrible cooling problems whenever one boosts. Hover legs have built-in boosters, so each leg model in the shop has their own distinct but nevertheless god-awful booster heat stat. And if my AC overheats, my energy gauge goes down to the fucking sewers. I expected this to happen, hence why I bought a new, generally decent radiator with my starting money. But even with it, I just get too hot from boosting. So I tried a few other strategies out, such as changing my arms into missiles, but sadly, she and her helicopter allies were a little too powerful for me at the moment. We will have to try finishing this mission at a later date. My other mission option, Recapture Storage Site, is purely an indoor mission. Ryu at the moment isn't really suited for indoor missions, so it was at this time I decided to make a new AC. Meet Blanca. With higher speed and better closer range firepower than Ryu, this AC will have to do when it comes to indoor missions. He's equipped with the Pixie 3 machine gun and the LB3 laser blade. The Pixie 3 in particular is especially great as a well-rounded, high ammo capacity, and decent DPS machine gun that will be perfect for attacking while on the move. As for the LB3, it will be the ideal weapon in the case of fighting anything slow-moving or tanky, as it's actually the hardest hitting laser blade in the game, even more so than the Moonlight. With Blanca now built and ready to go, the mission ends up being a breeze. None of the enemies can stand a chance against the LB3's raw firepower, and I'm able to coast through this mission cleanly, even while picking up a hidden part on the way. I got myself the Dryad missile launcher. This thing is shit, but I could always sell it for more money, which is nice. I also decided to unequip the starter missiles on Blanca and strap on another radar for additional protection against electronic countermeasures. Now, let's keep going. The upcoming missions turn out to all be pretty easy here on out. Investigate this facility, eliminate lab intruders, defend the dam, nothing too crazy. The dam mission in particular was pleasantly not too bad. In your average playthrough of Last Raven, any mission that takes place in the Airsoul Dam can be quite the nuisance due to the fact that normal legs will be instantly destroyed if they touch water. But, like I said earlier, hover legs were specifically added into Armored Core for missions like these, so it turned out to be not too bad as long as I strapped off my missile arms and re-equipped the rifles I originally had on Ryu. Using parts specifically what they're made for. That's cool. I also replaced Blanca's core with the Gaia core, which can deploy these little energy rifle turrets. These turrets aim on their own, giving better coverage for my AC's blind spots while giving a nice source of energy damage. They will be a perfect companion to help me through the mission Prevent Plant Destruction. 10 years have passed since Vertex declared their time of attack, and, you know, I'm starting to make a name for myself in this world, I think. My mission track record has been pretty exclusively for Vertex, cause, you know, death to capitalism, and now I'm starting to become a real threat in this Robo hellscape. It's also at this point where the leader of Vertex, Jack O, gives me an email. He tells me that Evangel, the leader of Alliance's tactical unit, has supposedly switched sides, and now works for Vertex. Glad you saw the light, my friend. I also received mail from Vertex's headquarters that unknown units are attacking Vertex's forces. If it's unknown, it's probably not something good, so shouldn't be anything I have to deal with anytime soon, right? Right? And now I'm tasked with the mission, Eliminate Enemy Occupiers. I know I said I've become a better pilot now, but that pay is not a good sign. At first, this mission doesn't seem so bad. It starts off like any other of those destroy these MTs here, destroy these MTs there kind of missions, with these orange guys over here also just being part of the mix. These little missile moes, also known as MT-07 LMs, fire 2 large missiles each, both of which can deal tremendous damage and heat if they connect. Avoiding them is definitely a struggle, but I am able to power through just as we're about to make it outside the facility.
Seems you've been doing well. Too bad you were tricked.
What's he talking about? Take him down.
Is that all you got?
No, this can't be.
Ow? This bad boy here is called Malekado. He uses the same Armored Core build as the Ninebreaker from the previous game Armored Core Nexus, but it's piloted by another guy who's much worse than his predecessor was, and based off that fact alone, he should be a cakewalk if I wasn't using hover legs. Second attempt in, I was able to get really close, and I mean really close. But sadly, it's the closest I'll be for a while. Malekado's AC is equipped with a WR-76RA assault rifle, 2 ever so deadly WB-78GL grenade launchers, and the same extremely powerful LB-3 laser blade that I have. Normally, this type of build would be hilariously overweight and not perform well, but Malekado has also access to a little something called Human Plus. Human Plus allows him to forego weight, energy, and cooling restrictions, but more importantly, he gains the ability to fire heavy back units freely without the need to kneel, something all bipeds usually must do. Human Plus cannot be obtained by the player without cheats, so that puts me at an even larger disadvantage than I already am. It's this fight in particular that probably showcases the limitations of hover legs better than any other mission yet. And with that in mind, I feel that now is a perfect time to precisely explain why these legs are just so bad. First off, the stats. Hover legs fall into the middle to lightweight class of leg types. These legs are generally fast but fragile and have a low load capacity, meaning you can only carry so much before becoming overweight. Speed in most, if not all, Armored Core games is extremely important, and Last Raven is no exception to this. Unfortunately, pretty much every hover leg is inferior to other leg types of similar weight class. They will consistently have lower armor, worse innate cooling, and lower weight capacities. Granted, these leg types technically are faster on the ground than nearly any other leg type, but unlike bipeds, reverse joints, or quads, they are not really capable of executing the single most essential and important movement option in the game. Bunny hopping. Yes, bunny hopping. Let me explain. When you hold down a direction alongside your designated boost button, -R1, you will perform a boost on the ground. This is the quickest way to reach from point A to point B without overboosting. However, while this travel method is fast, you're perpetually locking yourself to the ground. And because of this, your ability to dodge shots from opponents while ground boosting is actually pretty bad. Most weapons won't have trouble locking you down and connecting shots, and you won't really have the ability to dodge them easily. Furthermore, ground boosting is the most energy intensive way to travel as well, besides overboosting, and as any Souls fan would tell you, preserve your stamina bar. Preserving your energy bar is no less crucial. Once that thing's depleted, you cannot boost again until it's refilled. On the other hand, if you very briefly let go of the boost button, then hold it down again, you will take flight, which not only helps you reach areas vertically, weapon lock-on systems will have a much harder time landing a hit on an airborne AC compared to the grounded one. Keep in mind, if you do this from too high of a distance and don't catch yourself with the boost, you will suffer a hard landing. Now this is where things get cool. If you just tap the boost button when lifting off the ground, you will do a little hop before going straight back down. And if you catch your landings by preemptively boosting, you'll go straight to ground boosting with no recovery in between. That, my friends, is a bunny hop. It'll let you travel at respectively high speeds while still maintaining the evasiveness that the Y-axis provides you. And with how floaty the Last Raven engine is compared to the other PS2 AC games, you'll be able to micro-adjust your AC in the air to completely throw off any weapon lock-on system. B-hopping is such an essential movement option of the PS2 games that even the computers will do it themselves. Here's one of the lowest ranking ACs in a completely different game, bunny hopping. This is why when someone asks for tips on how to succeed in their first AC game, I will always tell them before anything else, before any other mechanic you learn, you must learn how to bunny hop. It's just too important not to do. I may have done a bad job explaining precisely how to B-hop, so here's me actually doing it with my controller. The easiest way I've found to explain it is to kind of think of it like instantly double jumping in a platformer. Just make sure you touch the ground before lifting off again, and you should be able to get it in no time. Now, you might be asking, what the hell does this have to do with hover legs? Well, here's me trying to bunny hop with hover legs.
Engaging test mode.
Hover legs have an exclusive landing animation where before fully reaching your ground state, you do this weird and slow kind of automatic boost down. This wouldn't be so bad
if you can't ground dash during this animation.
Meaning, you have to either wait for your AC to painstakingly get its ass onto the ground before resetting your bunny hop, or do a fake sort of bunny hop, where you never actually touch the ground and instead just kinda slowly float on your way down. Up and down. Hover legs are one of two leg types that can't bunny hop, and the only other one that shares this movement limitation is tank legs. You know something's a lot of fuck. This fact alone, this singular fact, takes what should be one of the fastest leg types in the game to arguably one of the slowest. Because, yes, hover legs have probably the highest ground speed in the game. But because they cannot properly bunny hop, your only means to really be agile enough to evade shots is when you're hitting sub 300 kilometers per hour, a pathetic speed for one of the most fragile leg types in the game. Okay, so, rant over. How does this affect the Malekado fight? Well, remember that grenade launcher I mentioned?
Is that all you got?
Yeah, the WB-78GL grenade launcher really does pack a punch. Each shot shreds about 800 of my AP, and because hover legs can't bunny hop, dodging the nade shots of his kind of just feels like a gamble. I try utilizing my ground speed as much as possible with the Pixie 3 machine gun, but it's no use. I eventually have to stop to either recharge energy or to throw up Molly's lock-on. And if I get shot once, my entire AC reels back, giving him more time to land even more grenade shots. An alternative to playing invasively is to instead try to move up and blade him to death. But for carrying such heavy equipment, Molly is still pretty fast. Fast enough to line up grenade shots anytime I make an aggressive approach to blade him. Plus, I'ma be fully transparent with y'all. I suck at the blade in Armored Core games, so it's probably not my best option. Oh, also, I haven't mentioned this yet, but he also has backup. The facility is armed with their own grenade cannons, and they're fixated towards the fence of the facility. This essentially means if I don't want to avoid taking more shots to the face, I'm locking myself up with this quadrant of the map. So all this considered, I have to avoid taking damage from Malekado's grenade launcher and avoid taking damage from the facility's grenade launchers. Add to the fact that I've also got to avoid being damaged on the way to the boss fight to begin with, this shit is gonna be no joke. It's not undoable though, so let's talk strategy. First and most importantly, I must avoid damage from the orange MTs. After experimenting with different ways to deal with them, I've learned that simply boosting backwards to use the walls of cover is the best way. One MT is capable of firing up to 2 nukes, so as long as I avoid taking damage from this, the MTs aren't the biggest trouble in the world. Also, MTs don't really follow your AC if you boost past them, so by not focusing my attention on those in the way and just flying by, I'm able to conserve ammo, and more importantly health, which will only increase my chances at fighting Molly. As for the fight itself, a nice visual cue that will help with both the Molly fight and future AC fights is whenever an AC swaps their weapon to their high damaging back units, they'll typically need some time to properly lock their weapons on. What this means for the Malekado fight specifically is that I'll know he's getting ready to line up his grenade launcher whenever he stops firing briefly. This window of not firing gives me ample time to either hide under cover or expend my energy to help evade his grenade shots, since while his rifle is highly accurate, it doesn't really do much damage on its own, especially when we're comparing it to my Pixie 3 and Gaia combo. My main strategy will be to stay at a mid-range at all times and circle him. This will make it easier to avoid his grenade shots and ensure all of my DPS connects. Due to both his lethality at closer ranges and my own incompetence of the blade, laser blade attacks aren't really an option unless he misses a laser blade attack himself. Lastly, I have to try to spend as much time as I can by the door side of the map. The grenade turrets are fixed by the wall on the opposite side, so staying as far away from them as possible will help me separate the two threats from each other. With these strategies in mind, along with a bit of luck and better playing on my end, I'm able to finally defeat Malekado.
Enemy AC destroyed.
And I still have to destroy these damn turrets? You know what? Fine, you be you. Go fuck yourself, game. Aren't these turrets supposed to be the facilities? The one I'm not supposed to damage or some shit?
Armored Core last Raven, more like Armored Core ass blazing.
Okay, but jokes aside, I do eventually get the completion attempt.
What's he talking about? Take him down.
Enemy AC. AC destroyed. The unit is a hard grenade launcher. Calling for attempt to maintain execution.
Don't damage the facility.
Enemy's core damaged.
I'll show you what I can do. I need backup right now.
Enemy's land is damaged.
I'm not kidding. I need help. Ah!
AC destroyed. Mission objective achieved.
About 45 minutes
Systems
in a lucky
switched to
attempt where
normal mode.
Malekado rarely uses grenade
Pretend
launcher
back.
was what it took. Which might not seem so bad if I wasn't, mind you, playing on the easiest ending path of the game. I mean, at least I did it, right? Right? Boy, I'm a little scared for my future. After all the bullshit the Malekado fight put me through, I decided to take a visit to the VR arena. I hadn't been there since beating Ska earlier on, so I figured now would be a good time to get some cash rolling. I meet up with Quota, a heavyweight AC who's got nothing but a damn pulse rifle. Damn, nice loadout, man. Next up is, what's this? Another hover leg user?
What is he cooking?
Leave the shitty legs types to me, sir. Thank you. Then we got Aubrey Vion, a
Two-legged AC designed for long-range combat.
as he takes me to the smallest arena in the game. Then we got this skinny little bitch next, more like a dead bitch now. After that we've got Genie, I'll take those wishes. Then we got Toothpick, my beloved. I'm so sorry, Toothpick, I'm so sorry. Next up we got the doggo emblem dude, sorry but I prefer cats. And then we got Gabe Glow piloting the AC Bad News. Yeah man, this is definitely some bad news, let me tell you. But then comes this guy, number 2448, and he's sadly a bit too strong for me. He's got an even deadlier loadout than Malekado did, and to make matters worse, he uses the highly vertical map so well to his advantage that there isn't really any way for me to reasonably contest him. Unfortunately, this is where I'll have to end my run in the arena now. Which, you know, isn't so bad. I got quite a bit of money, and with multiple Raven deaths and successful mission completions under my name now, the leader of Vertex, Jacko, is starting to see my worth as formidable. Real quickly though, I've got another mission to do for the Vertex HQ. It's a defense mission where I have to shoot some spider drones down before they reach the top of these buildings. I constructed a third AC equipped with a sniper rifle and a long-ranged FCS to help me with this, named Dalsum. Why Dalsum? Well, because he's got insane range. Long enough where I can really just sit back, get the lock on, and let the sniper do all the work. It's now 12 AM, only a few hours until the declared Vertex attack commences. Jacko finally has some personal work for me, and that's to take down a filthy, filthy traitor to the cause, Sorcerer.
There's a raven I want you to eliminate. It's still hard to believe that someone I had so much respect for could betray me at this most critical time. There's no doubting his guilt, though. He must be punished. I'm sure he believes his actions are justified. He also knows the consequences he must face.
What's weird though, is Sorcerer had no idea why he's being attacked or what went wrong or why Jack wants him dead, so that leaves me asking myself, was he a traitor or did Jack just not like him? Can someone tell me what the hell is going on? I made short work of him, but I'm still left with more questions than answers. Even my debriefer, Ed Wise, noticed the attack to be very idiot-pilled, but hey, Jack's the boss, I guess. What he says goes. With Sorcerer dead, Jack now specifically goes to request me to take down Evangel. Wait, isn't he on our side or something? What the fuck is going on, bro? Did he swap back or something, or is he just trying to go through his Joker arc? I don't know, man. What is this cause exactly anyways? Can you tell me, Jack, or anything? No? Okay, fine. By the way, if you're new to the PS2 AC games, you probably noticed that this guy looks very similar to the arena opponent I had just got my ass handed to a minute ago. And that's because 2448's AC is modeled after Evangel, specifically his iteration and Nexus. While his frame is more or less the same, just a bit tankier due to the given 2 arms, his weapon loadout is a little bit different. He still retains his linear rifle, his linear cannon, and the Moonlight laser blade, but his missiles are replaced with the Garion 2 laser cannon. His Gaia core is also replaced with the C-98E, which can deploy 2 rifle drones to fight alongside him. Despite all of these differences, what remains his biggest threat in his loadout remains the same. This damn linear cannon. Known in-game as the WB-91 LGL, this linear cannon is particularly deadly in Last Raven due to the majority of Ravens being capable of firing it on the move with a little help from Human Plus. Alongside pretty solid DPS as is, the main threat of this weapon comes from a very high stun rate. Pretty much any AC will be locked up by its high fire rate and stun rate, which sets the enemy up perfectly for further punishment. Evangel's a bitch, so I'm struggling to progress yet again. VR Arena, I've gotta fight Evangel. Story mode, I've gotta fight Evangel. Ain't that fun? This is where I decide to go back to Ryu. See, Blanca is a solid, well-rounded AC, but all of his weaponry is quite close range aside from his laser rifle turrets from the Gaia core. The map this mission takes place in has plenty of cover, and unlike the Molly face-off where it's all fixated on the outside of the map, the cover of this map is pretty spread out between both in the center and the outskirts of the map. With Evangel's linear cannon, rushing in remains a bad option, especially since, as a pilot, he's much more evasive and airborne than Malekado. This is where Ryu comes in handy. I swapped out his rifles for the Taurus missile arms, which fire straight ahead with good precision and fire rate, but since Evangel is pretty bulky for his speed, there's no doubt that I need some more firepower on the back. So I go out and buy a Kanara, which fires about 7 micro missiles at once at a medium slow interval, and a WB-7 SMT, which fires 3 small missiles at once at a fast interval. Combine this with my extension's additional 4 missiles per fire. These additions make Ryu strong as hell, and this is even more alleviated by the fact that Evangel has no anti-missile protection at all. He'll especially be susceptible to the playstyle of running like a bitch and shooting missiles. This is in contrast to Malekado, who was equipped with both anti-missile extensions and decoy insides. Any missiles that I may have had in the fight would have been thwarted instantly, hence why my attempt at beating him with Ryu didn't go my way. To support the additional weight of these weapons, I swapped out Ryu's legs with the same one Blanca uses, which, while a little slower, do support more weight. Speaking of my hover legs, this is actually where I get some value from them as well. As I said in the bee-hopping section, they have some of the highest ground speed in the game, and when I'm less focused on dodging shots and more on staying the hell away from Evangel as I can, bee-hopping loses quite a bit of value anyways. So, let's go. My first few tries were still a bust, but using the shelter found in the middle of the map as cover, I was able to eventually pull out the win.
Engaging combat mode.
There's your target. Take him down. Watch closely, Jack. I'll show you what real power is.
Enemy AC detected. AC off. The unit is equipped with a blade. Close range combat is to be avoided. Enemy's core part damaged.
How is it possible? Nobody's this good.
Warning, AP at 50%. Leg parts damaged. Core part damaged. Enemy AC destroyed.
You won.
Mission objective
I won't
achieved.
lie, I'm pretty impressed with myself and how I performed this fight. Even Jack O seems to be pleased.
The weak can't be trusted.
With the death of the first in command of Alliance, the capitalist pigs are put in a corner. They are losing control of this war quickly, even before the declared time of attack. From here on out, I am tasked with the mission, Safeguard Industrial Area.
enemy already has units inside. Clear them out.
You're too late. One of us isn't leaving here. I think it's you.
That AC could be a problem. Take it down.
Enemy's core pod damaged. Enemy AC
You're good.
detected. NEC Heaven's Ray identified. Limit zone with ECM maker. Raven.
Ah!
What's funny about this guy is that Joust is using probably the worst weapon in the game, so it's like, damn bro, your head being blown off isn't even the biggest of your problems. There's also some other MTs, but they're really not a problem at all. Final mission, we go. Alliance is at their knees, and now look to send in their final troops.
Raven, we need your assistance one last time. There's a large Alliance airborne force headed towards Versus Highland. Looks like they're trying to make one last stand. We are so close to achieving complete victory. Opportunities like this cannot be squandered. Head to the operation area and destroy the enemy force. Your targets are desperate, so be prepared for anything. Please help us put an end to Alliance's resistance once and for all. Good luck.
Luckily for me, there's no AC to be found in this mission, just hordes and hordes of MTs. But as soon as the wave of enemies dies down, these come out.
What are those things? Be careful. They're moving in to attack.
Special weapon destroyed. Special weapon destroyed.
There's another? Get ready. The target is inbound.
Powerful energy signature detected.
It's finished. I wonder if peace will finally be restored. Let's head back.
We did it, Ravens. With a bit of luck, lots of skill, and total insanity of picking bad leg types, I've single-handedly taken down the super corporation known as Alliance. They are no more, and humanity is now free to band together and help rebuild this world, free from the shackles of corporations. But the problem is, we didn't really get any answers for our deeds, and the world is in a bad shape thanks to the war and the unmanned suicide drones. We still don't really know the nature of these drones, and neither do we know anything about the supposed units that were destroying Vertex earlier. So, are we really safe, or was taking down Alliance just a distraction? As for the final boss, it was not hard at all, honestly. I just had to track down 3 big planes known as Leviathans, and just unload all my missiles onto them. If anything, the hover legs were actually pretty helpful in this fight, as their floatiness helped me maintain altitude for longer, so glad they clutched it out in the end, I suppose. I don't think I even need to tell you that my journey is just beginning. This was one of 7 endings of this game, and from here on out, each playthrough is only going to get harder and harder. Thank you all for watching my first scripted Armored Core video. It definitely won't be my last, so please consider subscribing. And I hope you're all ready for the journey that lies ahead of us both. Because after all, it's not you guys who have to put up with these pieces of shit.